Hi, this is Klika from Fitness Quest 10. This is our dynamic warm-up that we do with all of our athletes, all of our youngsters, all the way up to our pro athletes. And this is designed to get your whole body warmed up, get every part of your body ready to compete. So the first thing we're going to do, notice we're going to start on our stomach, or actually we're going to start on our back, roll over to our stomach, up to all fours, to a crouch, to a stand, to moving. And that's the way your body develops from infant on. That's the way your body develops. So first I'm going to start on the ground on my back. So what I want to do, I'm going to start on my back, I'm going to hug one knee up to my chest, and I'm going to squeeze to get my glutes warmed up. I'm just going to do 8 of them. That's 3, 4. What I'm doing is getting this butt muscle to fire up and do its job. And that's 8. Now we're going to go to the other side for 1, 2. Keep that knee hugged up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I'm going to get my whole posterior chain. It's everything from my heels all the way up through my upper back and head. So I'm going to squeeze up for 1. This is going to help with upper body mobility. 2. Squeezing it up. 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do 8 of them. 6, 7, and 8. Hold. And then I'm going to come down. Now I'm going to go ahead, turn over just like this so my stomach's on the ground. I'm going to start warming up the muscles in the front of my body. So first I'm going to start with kind of my hip flexors. So I'm going to come up on the ground just like that for 8 on each side. That's 2, 3. I'm moving my knee at my elbow. 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the other side for 8 of them. 1, 2. This is an important exercise if you're working out or playing a sport where you have to move, where you have to sprint. And that's 8. Now, I'm going to move from my lower body to my upper body. So I'm going to get my upper body and shoulders warmed up. I'm going to reach out as far as I can. These are called swimmers. I'm going to reach out right up the middle of my body for 8 of them. That's 4, 5. You really feel this in your upper back, taking my shoulder blades all the way through the range of motion. And that's 8. I'm going to come up into a straight arm push-up. Now what this is doing is it's mobilizing my shoulder blades, my whole upper body. A lot of people, then I'm going to go into a push-up. And as I push up, I'm going to separate my shoulder blades at the top. Especially if you play an upper body sport, you need to make sure to get all the shoulder blades, the whole shoulder moving. Now I'm going to go to all fours. I'm going to be here like this. I'm going to put my hand above my head. These are called dirty dogs. I'm going to come up to one side. 1, 2, 3. Warming up my hips now. If you're in a sport that requires you to run, this is going to be very important. Your hips are everything. And 8. And then I'm going to go to the other side. Other hands up. This is weak in a lot of our athletes. And 8. Now I'm going to go ahead and straighten that leg out. My opposite hand behind my ear. And I'm going to rotate down, rotate up. Rotate down, rotate up. What I'm practicing here is stabilizing with my glute muscle and mobilizing my back muscle. 7 and 8. Now we're going to go to the other side. I'm going to hold it tight. If you're in a rotational sport of any kind, or a sport that requires a lot of rotation, movement, this is going to be good for you. 7 and 8. Now I'm going to use on all fours here. I'm going to come up, I'm going to separate my shoulder blades, tuck my hips. It's called cats and dogs. I'm going to come back, stick my hips out. If you're at the office, in the middle of the game, your back hurts, a lot of time this will give you some relief. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to come down. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to come down. Come up, and down. Alright, now, I'm going to step forward with my right leg. This knee's on the ground. I'm going to push forward. Now notice, I'm not going to let my back arc. I'm going to push my hips forward. Nice tall chest. I'm going to push in and back off. I'm going to do about 5 of these. I'm stretching out my hip flexors, which in a lot of athletes, the hip flexors are what slow us down when they get immobile, when they get shortened, when they get inflexible. And most athletes that I work with have shortened hip flexors. We have to elongate them. I'm going to go to the other side. Get about 5. I'm going to push on. And breathe. That's it. And feel free to do these for longer. I'm just showing you so you'll have a reference point. 4 and 5. Now, I'm going to start getting my whole body ready for movement. I'm going to start to tie the whole chain together. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to have my feet just like this. I'm going to put my hands on the ground. Now I just did my squats yesterday. I'm pretty sore, so I'm a little tight. So I'm going to reach up with one hand, and I'm going to reach up with the other hand. Now I'm going to get my upper back, which is called your thoracic spine. I'm going to extend it as much as I can, and I'm going to stand up. That's 1. That's 2. I'm going to hit 5 of these. 3. You should be sweating. 4. We got to sweat as we're warming up to prevent injury when we're working out. And I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way, so we're not going to be on the ground anymore. Put it off to the side. Went from our back to our stomach to kneeling to half stance to now full stance. So we're going to start doing jumping jacks. Now we're kind of segueing in between our warm up and our performance. So I'm going to start doing jumping jacks. So let's do 8. That's 3. You working out right now? 4, 5. Think about being right in the middle of the feet. And 8. Now I'm going to open and close to get my chest open and my whole upper body. 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to drop and split my legs apart. Open up my groin right here. And notice, this is where the pace heats up a little bit. This is where I want to make sure my whole body's warm and ready to go. I just got 2 more. 1 and 2. Good. Now open up my groin. All my body's fired up. Got to get my brain talking to the rest of my body now. So I'm going to get a little balance work. So I'm going to be on my left foot, just like this. I'm going to reach forward and then stand up for 1, 2, 3. We'll do 8 on one leg and 8 on the other leg. I'm not going to bore you with doing all of it. Now, balance is one of the more important things that we can get ingrained into our body before we go out and do something that requires balance. And I'll give you one more. Here we go, just like that. Now, I've got everything warmed up. Back, stomach, kneeling, half stand, stand, movement. Now I'm actually going to move. So I'm going to go ahead and come at you. I'm going to start here, hands on my hips. I'm going to step, kick my leg up. My idea here, and I'll show you from the side a bit, is to get my hamstrings and hips warmed up. Don't let your body do this. I'm going to keep my body nice and tall as I come across. So we're going to get about 12 to 15 of those, or you can cover about 15 yards. Next, we're going to get a shuffle. I'll show you from a couple angles. Now look at my feet. When I shuffle, what a lot of people do is open up their feet like that. That's not completely wrong, but for the point of this drill, we're going to keep our feet forward. That way we're using our glute muscles, and I'm going to shuffle. Just like this. Now as I shuffle, I'm going to push and pull. So if I'm going this way, it's going to be like that, and then I'm going to come back. We're going to cover about 15 yards when we do that. Then I'm going to go into a karaoke. I always talk about active ankles, active hips. When I karaoke, I don't want to have locked out ankles. I want my ankles to absorb into the ground and propel me off the ground. So I'm going to cross in the front. Notice that my hips are constantly working. Then I'm going to come back. Fire them up. Just like that. So we got karaoke's again, cover about 15 yards. Now I'm going to go to skips. If you can't skip, you can't get faster. If you can't skip, you can't warm up to sprint. So I'm going to start skipping. I'll come at you. Hands open. Opposite arm and opposite leg. My heel comes up with my hamstring. I'm firing it up and down. Again, I'll show you. You got to have your arms in there. Coming up, just like that. Heel. Again, about 15 yards. Now I'm going to throw you for a loop. You move forward, sideways. Any good athlete can move in any direction. I'm going to skip, because skipping is very much like running. I don't get to run just straight and split. I'm going to go cross skip. So I'm going to be here. I'm actually skipping laterally. Now look at my feet. What do you notice they're not doing? They're not crossing each other. So as I come up, again, I'm going to go about 15 yards one way, 15 yards the other way. Now depending on the amount of time we have an athlete, there's some other little things, depending on the surface we get to work on, that we put in, depending on their sport, depending on what they're getting warmed up to do. But that's the basic dynamic warm-up. If you do that before you play a sport, before you work out, you're going to find you're warmer, and you're going to be able to perform better, and you have least likelihood of injury. So let's get out there, let's do that every single time before we work out. Thanks a lot. Brett Klika from Fitness Quest 10. Check us out at www.fitnessquest10.com. Have a great day, work hard, be well, eat well, live well.